Welcome to the Conscious Living Podcast, conversations to educate, empower, and enlighten our world. An uplifting and inspiring series of conversations and talks with your host, Jackie Woodside. We are educating minds, empowering lives, and enlightening souls to create a world where love prevails. In this engaging podcast, we deliver exciting, positive, transformative talks and teachings designed to elevate your life. Now, let's join our host, Jackie Woodside, for this week's session.
Hello today. This is Jackie Woodside, the founder and the host of the Conscious Living Podcast, where we are here to educate, empower, and enlighten our world. I am so grateful that you keep coming back for more information from the Conscious Living Podcast about how you can dive into life with more vibrance, more authenticity, more depth, more meaning. That's what the Conscious Living Podcast is all about. And one of those areas that I think people underestimate when they think about conscious living is what we do with our careers. You know, people sometimes say like, well, it's just my career. It's just my job. It's not that big of a deal. I'm like, what? You spend more hours a day at work than you do with your kids and spouse most often. So I think that we only have one life that God has given us, some of which we get paid for, some of which we do not. But we want to be conscious, awake, aware, and alive in all of our endeavors. So I'm bringing together a friend and a colleague with me today on the Conscious Living Podcast. Katrina Sawa and I have known each other for a year and a half or so now, and have collaborated in a wonderful mastermind group. And we just collaborated on a book launch that Katrina was the publisher for, which I'm really excited. She can tell you more about that. It was wonderful. And we have an upcoming summit together, Jumpstart Yourself Summit. Isn't that like the best name ever? Do I need to jumpstart myself? I think I do, just about every other day. So let me just tell you a little bit more about Katrina. She is, since 2002, she's been known as the Jumpstart Your Business Coach because she lovingly kicks her clients' butts and their business into high gear, and she does that really fast. She's the CEO of Jumpstart Your Biz Now and offers business coaching, keynotes, and events. She is an international best-selling author of, get this, 22 books. So Katrina, welcome to the Conscious Living Podcast. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you, Jackie. It was fun. It's been fun to play with you in this space for the last while, and I'm looking forward to more.
Yeah, likewise. It's really been fun. And, you know, I really admire, Katrina, what you've done to get so many authors out there and published. So can you say a little bit about the 22 books and how you help? We'll talk about your business work as well. But, you know, I guess because I'm an author myself, I have a soft spot in my heart for those of us that have that calling, but then have that sense of littleness or smallness or disorganization and procrastination and, you know, don't quite ever get it done. And you're helping so many authors find a quick and easy, painless path to publishing. So talk a little bit about what you've done with your 22 books.
Yeah. Thanks. Well, yeah, we help about 40 authors a year getting published. And I just think it's such a great,
Wow.
I love seeing it when, you know, especially a new author, they are so excited about their book. But what's funny is I never wanted to be an author.
Oh, really? That is funny.
I started my business because I was working in the sales and marketing positions forever. I was a sales rep for a local newspaper. I fell in love with the small business owners. And so I was helping, my goal was to help them with their marketing and their sales so they could actually grow their business, right? And about, 4 years into my business, 3-4 years, I went to a workshop and they were talking about doing a collaborative book with a bunch of authors. And I was like, well, why do I want to be an author and sell a $20 thing when I can sell a $200 thing, a $2,000 thing, or a $20,000 thing? It just didn't jive. And I'm like, until I saw people getting on stages with their book and or getting on TV with their book or getting more publicity in some way. And I'm like, oh, use it as a marketing tool. Okay, got it. Right. Yeah. So I was a marketer. And so I got into books because of marketing and what I saw that it could do to get more clients. And that's really how I got started.
Wow. And So you really saw the potential there and how it helps business owners be more successful by getting on stages and getting their message out.
Yeah.
That's really awesome.
My first book, I mean, it took me 3 years to get the first full book out by myself. Because of course we overthink it and we think, oh, it's not done yet. There's more to the story. Let me do it again. Let me keep going. And, but that first book that I wrote, I mean, I remember one gal who read it and the next week I saw her, she paid me for a $14,000 coaching contract. So I'm like, okay, this book thing is good. Like, I got to keep this up. Right. So I don't remember a lot of the other ones, but I remember her because she was like my first client who came from reading the book. So it's a really, it's a thing.
Right, exactly. What do you think people need to think about? Like, I'm just going to assume some of our listeners right now might have that, like, oh, she's talking exactly to me. I've always wanted to write a book. But what do you think they need to learn or think about before they go into the writing and publishing phase?
So you want to think of how it's going to flow with everything you're doing in your business. Okay. So I named my book, Love Yourself Successful, my first one, but my business was Jumpstart Your Marketing at the time. And I was like, well, it didn't really jive. Now it's okay, but I have a Love Yourself Successful book, which is like my story book with some lessons in it. And then I have a Jumpstart Your Business book, of course, now, which is my system book. So don't go into authorship thinking you're only going to write one book. Think about the different books you can write. You can write your storybook, your system book, a book of quotes. You can write a compilation book. You can write a book of blog posts. You could write a tip book, a lot of different kinds of books. And so don't limit yourself to just one. And if you think about it that way, then you might hurry up a little bit faster to get that first one done, which is what I would suggest.
Yeah. I always tell authors, because people, because I'm also an author, people often say to me like, oh, Jackie, I'd love to write a book. What should I do? And my advice to people always takes the wind out of their sails, because I say to them, you need to think about what platform you're going to launch it into. Because if you don't have anyone that's going to read your book, you've gone through a lot of effort for, your 3 cousins and your 4 or 5 aunts and uncles and a handful of friends to purchase it and read it. There's a million, there's a million books a year published on Amazon. Is that still the accurate statistic?
I don't know. It's a lot, and when we're doing book launches, sometimes we do end up going up against some big names and I'm like, oh crap, we picked the wrong day,
Yeah, picked the wrong day to do a launch. Yeah.
Because you never know who's launching when. But you do have to have a marketing plan. Now I don't know any authors that make a lot of money off their books. So just don't go into it thinking you're making a lot of money off your books. Where you're going to make the money is when the people hire you in the back end. Right. Unless you become and you're a fiction author and you become like a R.J. Tolkien or whoever, or Stephen King, or if you're one of those types of authors, that's different. Then that becomes your business and where you're going to try to really go for your money. We're talking mostly about the people who want to do it for authority and credibility and clients.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, and a lot of the people that come to me are people that just feel like they've had an experience in life. I mean, just a couple of weeks ago, a friend of mine said to me, I've wanted to write a book, and she's not a business person. She's, an employee, has a job, but her brother committed suicide several years ago. And then her son went through an overdose and he survived it, but barely. So she just feels like she really has something to say. Yeah. So what do you say to that author, Katrina, from your experience in the field? Like, I'm not really in business, I don't know that I'm going to have a whole bunch of books, but there's this message, because, to me in conscious living, I think the universe or God or whatever you want to call it speaks through all of us in so many ways. Like I told you, Katrina, right before we got on today, is like when you invited me to be in this last book, I was like, oh, I don't want to do that. That's the last thing I want to do. But then when I asked for guidance from my inner wisdom, I heard a very different message. Just keep getting your message out there as much as possible. So anyway, what are your thoughts about that from your experience as a publisher?
Yes. And I've worked with lots of people who have jobs and careers and don't have a business. And what I will tell you is when you do write a book, you then have a
You
business.
then have a business.
So
Right.
you want to go into it. Now, of course, you can go to the expense of just getting the book done and giving it to a few folks, right?
Sure.
I have one client who wrote a book. I'll knock them all over if I pull it out, but it's called Miracles on My Doorstep. And she
Okay.
wrote it with her mom, and her mom's in her late 80s, I want to say. And so they wrote it together as a great piece that they can be together and get out the mom's wisdom, get out the daughter's wisdom, and get it all into a book. And that's going to be amazing. And they did a bestseller launch, but I mean, I don't see her selling it right now, right? So I don't know that it's that big of a deal, but you do it for whatever reason you want. I think you definitely, if you have a story to tell and you know you can help, even if you can just help one person, then I think it's worth it, especially with that kind of a story, right?
Yeah, it's very powerful. And with the epidemic of overdoses and suicides today, so I helped her structure her outline and get her chapters together, and she texted me a few days later and was like, I did it. I wrote the outline and I'm going to do this. Yeah.
Well,
And
this is the kind of topic though that's really timely right now. So I would not sit on it. I would hurry up and get it done, because it will be
back with her.
a very good time to launch a book like that. It has been for the last year or two because of COVID, right? So if you have anything to do with mental illness or any kind of story like that, you don't want to wait, because there might be another thing 3 years from now.
Right, 3 years from now. All right, I'll text her when we get done today.
And sure, nudge her a little bit to get it done. Talk to somebody like myself or another publisher who will help get her a timeline, because that's the thing you want, so you can start seeing progression, right?
That's really great. So that's an important thing. So one of the things that maybe would-be authors or maybe experienced authors need to hear is having your project timeline established, almost like a project management plan.
Yes, it is. It's a project management plan. So we know, for example, some people like to launch their book at an event, like where they're speaking or when they're holding or something. So if you're going to hold an event, or you're going to speak at a bigger event, or you're going to be at a bigger conference, you might want to have the book by then, right? In print. So which means so you just have to kind of backdate the back into the launch. Okay, well then we need the cover designed a month before, and then we need we need all these things to line up, which means you now have 2 months to finish writing the book instead of 5. And so if you have 2 months, maybe you need some help. I mean, there's people out there that can help you finesse your story. Having the outline is great. If you're good at just going through the outline and talking through, you can even record yourself. You don't have to write it.
And then
so
put
there's
it
a lot
into
of
Otter AI, and Otter AI can transcribe your audio clips. That's another really helpful tool for beginning authors.
Yeah.
I love this, and I certainly would love to support my friend moving to bestseller status. You and I are both international best-selling authors. It's nice to put that on our website. But what's behind that, Katrina? What does it take to get a new or an experienced author to bestseller status?
Well, Amazon changes things every once in a while. They have algorithms too. And so my sense is, from what I've heard from other publishers and how we did in our own launch recently, it's probably 300 plus books in a 24-hour period of the ebook. So that's a lot of books.
Okay.
That you really need to get number one, but that's assuming you're not in a category with Michelle Obama or somebody really on launch day, right? With someone really big launching a new book that's really well known, like Jen Sincero, or so you have to pay attention to some of those things, and you have to choose your keywords wisely, and your categories wisely, because they just also changed that you don't get 8 to 10 categories anymore. You only get 3. So they're very
wow.
So we can only have 3 categories now. And before, we used to do it like ask for more. And so then there was a wide variety of us to get a bestseller in these, not so popular categories, so to speak.
Yeah. And is that gone now? Are you saying that option is gone?
Yeah, it's down to 3 now. So you have to be
harder to become a bestseller.
It's a little bit harder to become a bestseller. It was really easy there for many years. But
Right. Which is why you see that by a lot of coaches and business and entrepreneurs that they're best-selling authors. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, easy in respect. I mean, all of my launches have got international bestseller, which means we get bestseller in multiple countries, anywhere from 2, and we just got 7 for the book we were in, which is amazing, right? So that means we've sold a lot of books in 7 different countries.
That's really fantastic.
So it's really good to have those international connections.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with just a US #1 too, but when you want to get some help with that if you really want the status.
That's really fantastic. And, what's as you work with authors, let's bring this back to being a conscious entrepreneur. What do you hear from people that like what's their why and that maybe our listeners would benefit from as they're thinking about maybe writing and launching their own book?
Yeah, well, it's the same as your client is they really just something happened to them and they have wisdom around it and their story, and they just want to help other people with the same issue. That's the #1 reason why most people write their storybook, right? The people that write their system book, they're usually more marketers and business oriented. Not to say conscious people can do that too. It's just, I think it's smart marketing to package your expertise or your formula for the 7 steps to blankety blank or whatever it is you do with clients if you're a business owner. If you're not a business owner, usually it's your story. There's nothing to say that you can't do more books though too. I mean, it's a fun thing.
Right. I mean, look what Jack Canfield did with his chicken soup series.
Right.
I mean, there's chicken soup for everything, so what kinds of spin-offs from your story can you think about?
Yes, but don't try to do that on your own. That's going to be complicated because you won't make the money. You won't monetize it well, right? So make sure that instead of just losing money doing your books and not getting anywhere, you do get some guidance along the way ahead of time.
That's awesome. I love this notion of Jumpstart, right? So tell us about your Jumpstart book series, and why it's been so incredibly successful and popular.
Yeah, the Jumpstart Your Blank books. I mean, my brand has been Jumpstart Your Marketing, and now it's Jumpstart Your biznow.com. And I thought, well, I want to do compilation books where I get a bunch of authors together, right? And what could it be called? And so I always say Jumpstart Your this. I have so many domain names. I have Jumpstart Your Sales, Jumpstart Your Follow-up, Jumpstart Your right? And so I'm like, well, Jumpstart Your blank. It's called Jumpstart Your blank. People call it Jumpstart Your, and I'm like, no, there's a blank. If you say the blank, I can't write the blank though, because then it would look silly. Right. So it's Jumpstart Your blank. And then every author writes about how they help people jumpstart something. So I just love it because every book is different. So we just change the cover every year. And, we published over 80 authors in that series in 6 years. So it's just fun. It's fun. Right. And it is a great way. Now that book is more about your expertise, like of something, right? But we've had Jumpstart Your Happiness, Jumpstart Your Mindfulness, Jumpstart Your all kinds of non-business oriented things. But you can do a compilation book around your story. And if someone wants to write their story and they don't want to write a whole full book or pay for a book or get it published or do any of that, you can actually just write a chapter in like one of the books that here I have one here, like Her Badass Story, for example. She has a lot of authors. She had 9 authors write a chapter, and they were deep stories of huge transformations. Some were about molestation and rape and all kinds of horrible, things, but they wanted to get their story out. And these authors didn't really know how to write. So we finessed they didn't. It's okay. Sometimes when you're new, you feel like I can't write. And so, but get help and we'll finesse your story and we'll make you look like a rock star writer and business. So you can do one chapter in a book. I have clients who are doing books with stories instead of the expertise. And so you don't have to do the whole book. It doesn't have to be that overwhelming.
Right. Just get a chapter in a book. That's really awesome. And again, it just helps people get their message out there, their voice, their story. And How does that tie into some of your business and personal values yourself, Katrina, helping all of these people? I mean, you said you had 80 authors in just one series. I mean, I just think, you think about the ripple effect, like you are one dot in the pond, and that ripple of these 80, that's just one series, 80 authors, and then all of the people that they will touch. It's a tremendous ripple effect for you. And I really want to acknowledge you for that and appreciate you for collaborating with me as part of that. So how does that tie into kind of the Katrina, not just the smart entrepreneur, but the Katrina, the soul that's evolving in this lifetime?
Well, I did some work around true purpose before, right? And my true purpose was to heal the hearts of women. And I'm like, what is that? I'm a business coach. Like, I don't understand. But then that was years ago. And that was around the time, or it was before the time that I started writing the Love Yourself Successful book. Right. And so I was like, heal the hearts of women. Okay. And come to find out years later, looking back on it all, it does have to do with my story. When I started my business, I was married to my starter husband, and he was not supportive of me doing my business, and would tear me down and go get a job kind of thing. You're not making the money yet. And he wouldn't even try to understand or learn or come with me or watch me speak or really, so it really hurt to not be supported in that way. I lasted about 2 more years in the marriage, and then I left, right? Because I'm like, well, this is what I'm doing, and I can't be with somebody who's not going to support me. Sure. So I'm not going to settle. And I was 35 at the time. And, and it was hard because then I went to a 1-income household. Right. And I was on the roller coaster of cash flow in the beginning of my business. So I was like, but I had to trust that it was all going to work itself out. Yeah. And in fact, one of the first chapter I wrote a book, chapter in the first book is Power and Soul with Allie Brown. And that was in 2006. And it was entitled, It Will All Work Out in the End.
Oh, nice.
I didn't know that was my motto at all. I just picked it because that's how I was talking at that time and feeling. And looking back, that has been my motto ever since. Having faith in myself, just trusting it'll all work out in the end. And I say that to clients, and they probably say it in their head. Katrina's in my head, it'll all work out. I just have to trust, so that's really where I'm coming from, because I want people to live happier lives. Yeah. Now I have an amazing husband. I want them to have a supportive, significant other, and just all the love in their life. And that's why I do what I do. Even though I talk about business, marketing, strategies, books, the whole goal is to get you to your happiest life ever, so that and that includes making a lot of money. You deserve it.
Yeah. Right? Absolutely. Katrina, that's just a delightful answer. I just love that. So you and I have an event coming up. It is called Jumpstart Yourself. Tell people a little bit about it.
Yeah. So all the authors that were in the book this year with you and I, there's 10 total authors. We're getting together and we're going to talk about the chapters that we wrote about, talk about the topics, right? So you wrote Jumpstart Your Money Vibe. So you're going to hear from Jackie on that topic. Now, she's not going to give you all the secrets, but like 25-minute power-packed talks and actionable, right? We want it to be like workshop mode kind of thing. Nice. So we've got Jumpstart Your Life talks. We've got Jumpstart Your Business talks. So whether you have a business or a career or neither, you can come and get at least 2 or 3 ideas, I'm sure, that you can help jumpstart some area of your life or business. So
beautiful. And we'll just say it's an online event.
It'll be really easy on Zoom. You'll be able to chat. The speakers will be there answering questions. And it's September 28th from 9 to 3 Pacific time.
That's really awesome. I'm actually going to be on vacation that week, but I'm going to pull myself out of vacation mode. Yes. Just to show up and be awesome. And I will say to my listeners who've already read Money Vibe or maybe gone to a Money Vibe workshop that I actually wrote a new chapter, and it includes things that I have not taught before. So I'll leave that there to be titillating for my listeners who've been following my Money Vibe work.
Good. Yeah. Because we've always we're learning more, right? I'm constantly investing in mentors and learning new things. And so every time I write something is different, right?
Great. So that's jumpstartyourself.com for people who want to register for that summit. The registration is free, and I will be there speaking, as will Katrina be speaking and facilitating that event. We're really looking forward to it. Katrina, maybe there's some entrepreneurs listening to you today and they really resonate with your values, that you really are all about people building the happiest life that they can possibly have. And you clearly have done that, with your business success, from floundering and that up and down roller coaster of the beginning income to a, unhappy marriage with someone who was controlling and unsupportive, to now having, a really happy marriage and a thriving, successful business. What's the best way for people who are inspired by that, resonate with it, to get in touch with you with the possibility of talking to you or perhaps hiring you?
Yeah, I'm happy to talk to anybody. I'm actually very accessible. You just go to the website, either the jumpstartpublishing.net site if you're interested in the book stuff, or jumpstartyourbiznow.com. And just reach out. I've got tons of videos and information there and free stuff, but if you don't reach out, then we can't move you faster. I want you to get faster to where you want to go. And so many people hold themselves back, and that's just, I hate to see that. It breaks my heart.
Absolutely. Love it. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and for having this conversation with me today. It's always, always great to collaborate with you.